Hey guys, Razor from Razor's Edge here. Just saw that there was recently a patch, pretty big patch for a forest village from the Life is Feudal series. When we first looked at this game, there was a lot of comparison between this and Banished, and I'll admit that they did look a lot in similarity. But one thing to note, even if that were true, this team is active. As far as I know, Banished is completely been supported by the modding community, where this game is still being developed by the developers, and they've just showed that by actually adding in quite a lot of new features and bug fixes. So, including a tutorial system, which is what we're going to go through today. So, just as a side note, just going over a few of the features, completely new grass system, some changes to weather elements inside buildings, zooming. So hopefully we get to see that in the tutorial. If we don't, we'll go ahead and start a game and finish off the video. But it looks like also fixed games. A lot of bugs were addressed. First-person camera bobs. Things that I saw too in my first playthrough. I did play the Life is Feudal, Your Own, and I also played Worm. So I'm sorry, not the same game at all, Jim. But so again, it's a nice polished game. Life is Feudal was a lot of fun. Me and my wife played several. Actually, we hosted a server. Um, and really enjoyed it. So this is a completely different type of, although it has the elements of Life is Feudal, it's a single player, uh, where you can save, pause, and you don't have to deal with databases and things like that or a dedicated server. So games like that tend to appeal to me, especially to relax. I like building simulation and economy builders. So babbled enough. I'll go over here too is through some of the options real quick. Right off the bat, I changed resolution to full go, running at 2560. Full screen, got the VSync turned on, we got the SSAO, we're going to turn that back up to high. I said high. Bloom I keep low. I'm not a big fan. I do like a little bit, but not a lot. Shadows, not really a big deal. But grass quality, let's bump that up to high, so we get to see that. And it's, we're running pretty much full out here. You've got some interface options here as well. Temperature, if you don't understand Celsius, feel free to change that to Fahrenheit. And then the UI scale, you can play around with that on your own. And then I've got music turned off for copyrights. I got sounds turned up. Hopefully they don't drown us out. If they do, I'll pause. And an event log. So that's some of the options that you have. So let's pause here and let me get set up. We'll jump into the tutorial and see what it's like. Okay, as soon as we log in, we automatically get prompted with a introduction as your new village, and it's going to teach us some principles. Boy, do I need help with that. 8 basics. Villagers must have a living space. You can see the interface down here, very similar to Banish, so those of you that have played Banish shouldn't have any trouble making the adjustment to some of the controls here as far as houses and storage and whatnot. And up here in the left hand side you've got your materials, the temperature, which we're showing in Fahrenheit, and if that's true it's only 1 degree. That's pretty cold. And our villages, children, and babies. Who's sleeping, who's eating, blah blah blah. So each villager must have a living space. Death will freeze to death. Yep, seen that before. Or be homeless. That's always bad. Alright, so press this button and a list of professions will open up. So it even gives you a little mouse clicking icon. That's kind of nice. So we'll just follow the... So there we go. Now we're going to no longer need builders. We need to decrease their number. Yeah, we will not need the... Well, they're already at 0, so not too worried. That builder symbol is that right there. These are your workers up here at the top, or what's called laborers. So it's already at 0, but thank you for telling us. Let's see. All settlers need to eat. They'll starve to death. There are methods of food collection. Let's cover that. So if we click on the fish for food, all right. So it's going to have us place a fisherman's hut. And let's see. We're going to place that. Again, for the camera angles, it's the WASD keys. And you can hit the R to rotate the building, get it to snap in. Obviously, a red area is not going to be where you can build. And as you can see there is a dock, so that's what we're looking for. And I think that's going to be our spot right there. And in fact, it was. So we have built that. We can get rid of that by right-clicking. So now they will start to work off of the materials that are in the inventory. We got 6 workers, so they should start, but we're going to need some builders. So let's pop that up to 2, and they'll start to work on that. All right. Besides food, you'll need to collect construction craftable resources like wood. Very useful. Yes, it is. So winter's coming. Having raw food is not enough. We need to prepare firewood in advance. Again, it's talking about the resources, resource gathering. And wow, it just zooms right in there on a plant. And let's see if it doesn't tell us about the gatherer. All right, create a terraformed area. Let's scroll back out. We'll terraform this right here. And as you can see, as I move the mouse, I can actually flatten or lower the ground. And that's pretty cool. And that just real quickly helps you, and right-click to get rid of that. They'll go to work on that. And they'll flatten the ground for you. And it makes it real convenient to drop a building in there. Hopefully you got it the right size. So let's see. I'll pause here while they work on that, and I'll be right back. As you can see, they're actually already carrying supplies over here. And by the way, if you hold the right mouse button down, you get a free look. You can scroll around, you can zoom in, take a look all the way into the characters themselves. So it's pretty up close and personal look at each model building. Pretty cool. And all the resources. So that's pretty nifty. So again, I'm going to let them build, zoom out, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now they're telling me to build a gatherer's hut, and they will collect those plants that they showed you earlier. So let's go ahead and click on a gatherer, and it does show you the radius if you zoom out of how far that worker will go to gather those materials. Unfortunately, it will not. Oh, it will fit right there. That's really a waste though, because that area looks like 50% water. They're not going to gather many plants. So let's put them out here, and we can build a road later to connect it. And that's one thing you need to know. You need to connect roads up to the buildings, or they won't be used. So city window will show you where forbidden construction. Yeah, I've already covered that. We have now covered the basics, and that's it. That's all it gives us. So I guess the rest of it's going to be a free play for us, and that's fine. They're working away there on the dock. That'll give us fish. I pretty much know the rest of this game, so I'll walk you through what I know from my experience of playing both this and Banished. So we will do that. And I'll tell you, Banished never, ever, ever had zooms like this. That's just very nice. And that's something that I've always enjoyed. I like watching the NPCs actually doing the work, working hard, building my settlement. You can click on each one of them. They'll give you the information of their happiness, their clothing, and their tool status, how the tools, the quality of the tools that they're using. If they get down to 0, that worker is going to become pretty ineffective, and eventually that tool will break. So let's see here. Let's check out on our gathering hut. Looks like we have both of our workers set. You can also set the priority of what projects you want them working on. Let me find that real quick. It's been a while. One of these buttons. I apologize here. Resource, minimap, blah, blah, blah. I'll show you that real quick. That just turns the minimap on. So if that's annoying to you, you can turn that off here. Same thing with the village info. Your logging at the bottom and your profession window. All that can be turned off. Your resource limit if you want to put a cap on various resources. Am wondering why the descriptions are gone from each of the resource types. That was a little odd. So there's your tips. If you want to know some of the tip information in there about each of the building types, it's there for you. Already showed that. And there it is, priority. So it's this little button right here. So we can actually put priority, even though it's the only, where the hell did I put that? There it is, right here. So you can just highlight that area and they will prioritize that as the objective. So at this point, we've got a fisherman's lodge. We need a fisherman. So if we click over here, we can actually take one of our laborers and make them a fisherman. And they will run over there and start fishing. Should see there it comes right now, throwing that fishing pole out. If you click on the building, it will show you the resource limit, and I assume that's to food production. It can show you I can have up to 3 workers. I currently have 1, and I can pin that if I want to keep track of that up at the top. So that's kind of nice. And then actually it showed me the amount of fish. So we've collected 2 fish so far, which is good. We can click on these various buildings. It's our barn. It's used for storage. And our warehouse, that's for materials. This is mostly for food. It kind of splits it up. I mean, you'll see food actually, it just kind of goes anywhere. And these are the dwellings for each of the villagers and what inventory they have. So you always want to make sure that each of the houses is well connected and close to markets that you can build. Otherwise, they're going to starve to death. And we don't want to starve out our folks. So as soon as they finish this gatherer's hut, which oh, there it is, and you can see right now what the building progress is right here in green. And it does in fact show that we have 2 that can be in that group. And gatherer icon is over here. It's a bag or a basket. And when I click on the building, it shows me the radius. You notice when I zoom out, the sound goes away. Zoom in, sound gets louder. All right, so we're going to pop in a few more. I'm going to build another house. I'm going to build a, there's some things in here too I want to show you about storage, and it's getting dark in the game anyway, so I'll pick this back up when it's daylight and that building is done, and then we'll build a road up to it. So I'll be right back. Okay, so still same day, just saw that it started raining, so wanted to show you that too, and some of the new grass qualities are really nice. And as you can see, the workers are carrying the lumber up here, stacking it up for the builders to actually build the structure. As you can see, this guy is already running out of happiness and his clothing. It's getting cold. So quite interesting. And it does show you that there's a rain icon in there, so it is raining. Maybe he's still got a smile on his face, so couple things to note too. These are the resources for the gatherer, things like plants, mushrooms. Another thing that's helpful too, you don't have to let things run. You can actually press the space bar and pause the game, or you can click down here, and this is where you speed up and slow down time. And while it's in a pause mode, you can actually go around, you can do anything. You can build, you can check on everyone's status. It's just the game stops everything in progress, except the weather. So we've got several people out here that are not working. So what I think I'm going to do is I can do something here too. It's called a quick gather. So even if you didn't have the building, say for food or the gatherer perk, you can click on these icons down here. Oop, that's the building. We're not ready for forest loggers yet. We will be though. We got to find those. And again, sorry about the dog barking. Let me pause for a second. All right, that's better. Household settled down. So if you click on the shovel pick icon down here, you can actually you can collect all resources. You can collect specific to wood, stone, ore, hay, or you can cancel. So we're going to do a collect all. And I always thought plants was in here as well. I guess that's not in there. I'm not sure what happened, but let's do a collect all. Again, it's a radius effect, so I can just click through here and remember now, and everything will show in red and what they're going to collect. It depletes it from the area. It also takes away your workers if they were carrying resources to the construction for the workers. So we'll go ahead and click that, and you can see now that they've all been highlighted. And then just right-click to get rid of that selector. And once I hit the space bar now, my workers will actually go start gathering. And I can even prioritize that. So we can go back to our priority button and tell them that this is priority right now. Because we're going to run out of food. So we want them gathering, and they're going to be gathering everything from lumber to food, anything in that area, as you can see. So stockpiles, those have been replaced. No more stockpiles. Everything's in a building. So you've got warehouses, barn, which we have both. There's a trading fair. It shows you the material that it's required to build each one. And then a caravan stables, which I can't even remember what that does. I think that's a production or village to village trading where merchants will come up and trade with you. So we have a fisherman's hut, which we've already built. The gatherer's hut we've built. We need a hunting cabin. So I'm going to do that. Of course, they're not going to start working on that. And be leery of overstacking. You'll see in red we can't build there. That's because we actually have a gatherer's hut there. And you don't want them too close together, but you do want them in an area that's somewhat close to your building. But you don't want to build this stuff in where you're going to expand your city out as well. And we're not going to get too big with this, so I'm not going to worry. But I see a lot of animals in here. They do move around. So I'm going to put that guy right here. He's not going to interfere with anything they're doing as far as resource gathering. So we will have a hunter here as soon as that building is finished. Now, they're not going to start gathering resources for that until all that picking that I've sent them on is done. So, because I gave it priority. And we can check on the status of our builders here. And they are, in fact, building that hut. So I'll pause right here. I'm going to let them finish both of those buildings, and then we're going to build roads to them. So I'll be right back. Hang in there. It gets fun, I'm telling you. Okay, so they finished our gatherer's hut, and you can see 20,000 resources on that one as well, but we don't have any gatherers, so we have to be leery of our worker number. And you might ask, where do you get these workers? Well, some of them actually come out of nowhere. Other ones, and you'll see that with ships, but most of them come from your offspring. Your settlers will have children. So you have to build schoolhouses, to educate them. If you want them to have better perks as far as building, to become faster. Some of them actually, like teachers, require an educated person to fill that role. If you put them in there, they're just going to educate stupid people educating stupid people, and so we don't want that. We're also going to keep an eye on our storage. If we have to, we'll expand. But let's click on the road system here, if I can find it. Horrible, I know. Don't laugh at me. And this has castles. It's got municipal buildings that you're going to need. Um, it's just, and there's your schoolhouse. You've got your port that I talked about earlier as far as people coming and trading with you. Well for fires. But there's the roads icon right there. We're just going to build a simple dirt road. It doesn't require a lot of resources. So we'll zoom out. We'll draw that road. And it does do it in a non, what would be the word? Straight line, I guess, for lack of a better term. But and it won't, there's specific areas it won't build it in, but this is going to be our main road basically to connect us to our village, and we can build off of that. So we've got a path in there for them to get to these areas, and we'll go ahead and add one gatherer, so they'll start gathering plants in that area. They're working now on our hunters, starting to gather some resources for that, bringing them in. So we'll go ahead and let's plop a road down between that, and I'll also be cognitive of where you're building your road, especially if you're building it out of bricks and things like that, because it will take away some of your livestock. And you can see here it shows me a white reticle or icon in that block that's a connection point to another road, so now they're connected. Zoom out here, and now we can see that we have a little road system. Use the right mouse and hold, and use the WSD keys, and I can spin around, and we can take a look at that. So if I click on that building, we can see that it really didn't show me anything because they deliver. There's no storage in that building. They take it straight to the shop. That's something else you can do too when you build these things. You can build storage facilities closer to the actual buildings themselves, because otherwise that worker has to carry that material all the way back to your storage building. So just like any other city builder, supply closer to the resource gatherers is always a plus. Kind of spreads the distribution around. As soon as they finish that hut, I think we're going to go ahead and build another house, and we'll start expanding our village. We just don't want to expand too far. We've only got so much food, so much firewood, which we still need to build a woodcutter, and that's next. We're going to build someone to gather lumber, and then someone to convert that lumber to firewood. It has many other purposes for uses of lumber, but the main concern is heat. So yeah, firewood and food are definitely a must for just basic needs of your villagers. As you can see, the builders are working on the road system right now, which I really don't want them to, so I'm going to change their priority. And let's put, no, not terraforming. Change priority back to our hut, because I don't really care about the road, it's just showing it. And we'll pause right here. I'll get a little bit more done, and I'll start it back up again. Okay, so even without looking at your different villagers, you can see up here somebody's hungry. If you go in, you can either click on that or you can look at the person, but there's somebody that's not eating. So either he doesn't have any food in his house, or there's no place for him to go eat, like a pub or something like that. So we definitely need some housing. So we'll go ahead and we'll plan that out. Even if we see we have 2 workers, or laborers, we don't want to drop that. Let's drop a builder down. We don't. That gives us 1 more worker. And let's build another house. So that's down here on this button, and we're just going to build another shack. which requires the least amount. So R rotates the house around. Still won't fit on our terraformed area, but that was a nice attempt. It was worthy. So they will start to work on that eventually. Not sure why, but I still hear them working on the roads. So that's a little frustrating since I actually put priority on here. Let's do it again just to make sure that might be a bug. And I certainly hate to... Well, and they actually wait for the resources to be gathered. So until all the resources are there, they're not going to do anything to start working on that because they don't have their materials. So it's probably good we gave put another laborer in there to actually carry those materials because it is quite a distance. And we will fix that eventually and add another storage area up there. I'm surprised this bear hasn't like killed off any of my dudes. It's kind of nice of him. I'd hate to see that. So far, only one person's unhappy. That's our overall status. Looking good on supplies. You can hover over each one of them and find out what they are. We have 314 firewood, so not a huge concern right now. Too bad. Tools eventually are going to become a big issue. So you're going to want to get metal production or a port to buy and trade whatever resources for tools. Tools require mines for the ore, or you can resource gather them, but you're going to need all the necessary buildings for forging, and that's all under the click these icons right here into the tree. So you got your ore mine, clay mines, always claymore, black shops for making tools, weavers, furnace, kiln, all this for smelting, of course. I don't think I need to explain all that. Municipal buildings we covered. We don't want to build any of this stuff right now because we're not ready. Castle walls for defenses. Roads, etc., etc. I think we've covered all that. We've got some decorations in there. We can build a playground for poor little kids. You are going to need a graveyard. They tend to get depressed when someone dies in the community, so they need a place to, and I think that's what we'll do with that. We'll actually make that a graveyard so they can mourn their dead, and that should keep them happy. Not sure why I got a question mark here. Oh, my shack. Yeah, duh. And any resources that are in the way of that will actually be queued up to be cut down and brought to the material. So yeah, they're still working on that road. Yeah. Idiots. Oh, and I got a message. We just had someone starve to death. So guess they're not hungry anymore. And we've lost a villager. So now we have a death. Somewhere there's going to be a dead body. I believe we can click on that icon and it'll take us to that location. I've already moved the body, the evidence of my failure to feed my people. That's a shame. I've killed my first victim. That's just bad management. Again, it's a good micromanagement game. You just have to stay on top of it. It is a lot of hands-on. As it grows bigger and bigger, it becomes less management. They have worked on optimization of pathfinding. It's 15 to 30% faster, I believe the patch notes said, which is nice because before I'd noticed that people would get lost. They just weren't finding their way to where they needed to go. So it's looking pretty good overall. And that's where the game's at. We can do a continuation if there's enough attention to this and you want to see more. I can continue to build on this. We can build some defenses, more production. We can build a port. But be interested in your feedback. So definitely leave me comments on the stream or on. I'll post this on Steam under the videos for this game. If you have more interest in seeing this before you make a purchase of the game, absolutely, completely understand. And I would be happy to, more than happy to do another video to actually go more in depth into the capabilities of this game and the look and feel. So feel free, give me comments, click like, subscribe to my channel, and get all the updates of all the games that I'm reviewing or actually working with the community. I'm very supportive of indie development. I can't say enough about them. As a fellow developer early in my career myself as a graphic designer, so a lot of appreciation for these indie developers out doing this stuff on their own. It's not easy. I get it. So anyway, you guys, that's going to end this tutorial. And by the way, just one last note before we sign off. You can save the tutorial. It's called Tutorial City, and you'll get a little icon there. So that's going to be it for this episode. This is Razor from Razor's Edge. I hope you enjoyed this and all the videos that I've done. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.
Break.